I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, a wonderful, active woman in her 70s, and she said something that just stuck with me. She said, "I don't feel old on the inside. My mind still feels like it's 40. But my body, well, it seems to have a mind of its own sometimes." And she told me about how she'd been reaching for a teacup from the top shelf in her kitchen, and for just a split second, she felt a little wobble, a little unsteady on her feet. It passed quickly, but it left her with a feeling, not of pain, but of worry. A quiet question in the back of her mind, is this it? Is this the beginning of losing my independence? If that story sounds even a little bit familiar, if you've ever felt that sudden, heart-skipping moment of unsteadiness when you stand up from your favorite armchair or when you turn around too quickly, then I want you to know something very important right now. You are not alone, and it is not an inevitable part of getting older. In fact, what if I told you that a staggering 95% of older adults experience a loss of balance not because of some unstoppable force of age, but because of a handful of common, everyday mistakes? Mistakes that are so simple, so easy to correct, that you can start fixing them today. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to walk through these 5 mistakes together, one by one, in a calm, friendly conversation. My goal isn't to scare you, but to empower you. To give you back that feeling of confidence and steadiness, so you can keep on doing all the things you love, from gardening to playing with your grandchildren, without that little voice of worry in your ear. So, let's get started with the first, and perhaps the most overlooked, mistake. I want you to think about your shoes for a moment. Now, I'm not talking about fashion, though looking sharp is always a nice bonus. I'm talking about the foundation you walk on every single day. So many of us, as we get a little older, we gravitate towards what we think are the most comfortable options. For men, that might be a worn-in pair of slippers or old leather shoes that are smooth as glass on the bottom. For women, it could be those soft, flexible slip-ons or, believe it or not, even going barefoot or just in socks around the house. It feels comfortable, doesn't it? That feeling of freedom. But here's the problem. When your shoes don't have a good, grippy sole, or when they're so floppy that your foot slides around inside, it's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand. You lose the critical connection with the ground. Your toes have to constantly grip to keep the shoe on, which changes your whole gait. And on a slippery floor or a stray-throw rug, that's when a simple misstep can turn into a fall. The solution isn't to go out and buy a pair of stiff, uncomfortable army boots. It's about support and grip. Look for shoes with a non-slip rubber sole. You should be able to press on the sole and feel some resistance, not have it bend in half easily. A firm heel counter, that's the back of the shoe that cups your heel, is vital for stability. And inside the house, consider a pair of well-fitting, supportive slippers that are meant for indoor walking, not just for lounging. Something with a proper sole. Think of your shoes as your number one piece of safety equipment, not just clothing. Making this one change can make a world of difference in how steady you feel with every single step you take. Now, let's move from your feet to your eyes. This leads us to our second common mistake, not giving your eyes time to adjust. How many times have you gotten up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom? You swing your legs out of bed, stand up, and take a step, all in near darkness. Or you come inside from a bright, sunny day into a dimly lit living room. In that moment, your body is literally flying blind. Your balance system is a marvel of engineering, but it relies on 3 key sources of information: your inner ear, the feeling in your feet and joints, and your eyesight. When one of those 3 is compromised, the whole system has to work overtime. As we age, our eyes take just a little bit longer to adjust to changes in light. It's a normal process. But when we don't compensate for it, we're essentially asking our balance system to perform a high-wire act without a safety net. That sudden dizziness or unsteadiness you might feel isn't always your inner ear giving out. Sometimes, it's just your eyes saying, "Wait a second, I'm not quite ready yet." So, what's the simple fix? It's all about being patient with yourself. Before you stand up from bed, sit on the edge for a count of 5. Let your body get its bearings and let your eyes adjust to the light level. Use night lights strategically. I'm a big fan of plug-in night lights, especially along the path from the bedroom to the bathroom. They provide just enough light to see your way without being so bright that they wake you up fully. And when you're moving from a bright area to a dark one, or vice versa, just pause for a moment in the doorway. Let your eyes catch up. It's a tiny habit, but it tells your balance system, we're in this together, and we're not rushing. And that idea of not rushing brings us perfectly to our third mistake, which is perhaps the most deeply ingrained habit of all, moving without a clear purpose. Let me explain what I mean. We've spent our whole lives multitasking. We've walked and talked, cooked and planned our day, gotten up from a chair while thinking about a dozen other things. It's a skill we prided ourselves on. But now, that very habit can work against us. Balance requires focus. When you stand up, your body needs to make hundreds of tiny adjustments, shifting your weight, engaging your core and leg muscles, all to keep you upright. If your mind is elsewhere, if you're thinking about what you need from the kitchen, or you're turning your head to answer your spouse, or you're getting up because the phone is ringing, your body isn't fully prepared for the task of balancing. You're on autopilot, and autopilot, as we get older, isn't always as reliable as it once was. The key here is to be mindful. Before you make a move, especially a change in position, take a breath and make a conscious decision. Say to yourself, okay, I am now going to stand up. It might sound silly, but it works. It brings your mind and body into sync. When you're walking, try to just walk for a moment. If you need to talk, stop and talk, then keep walking. If the phone rings, let it ring. Or better yet, get a cordless phone or carry your mobile with you so you aren't rushing to answer it. It's about breaking that lifelong habit of rushing and multitasking, and instead, giving the simple, vital act of movement the full attention it deserves. We've covered some really important ground already: the shoes on your feet, the light for your eyes, and the focus in your mind. These are things you can start working on today, right now, that will make an immediate difference in how steady you feel. And there are two more mistakes we need to talk about, which are just as crucial, but they require us to look a little deeper at how our bodies are changing. You know, it's interesting. After we talk about things like shoes and nightlights and taking our time when we stand up, I often hear from people who say, well, that all makes perfect sense. It's so simple. And it is. But then they'll often add, but I still feel a bit wobbly sometimes, even when I'm doing all that. And that's when we have to start looking a little deeper, beneath the surface, at what's actually happening inside our bodies. Because while those first three mistakes are about our immediate environment and habits, the next two are about the very architecture of our strength. This brings us to mistake number 4, and this one is a quiet, sneaky thief of our stability. It's the mistake of believing that just moving around, doing our daily chores, puttering in the garden, going for our daily walk, is enough to keep our legs strong for balance. Now, please don't get me wrong. That daily movement is an absolute superstar. It's fantastic for your heart, your mood, your joints, and for maintaining a general level of fitness. We should never, ever stop moving. But here's the thing that most people don't realize: balance is not just a skill, it's a strength. Specifically, it's a strength in muscles that we often overlook. Think about what happens when you trip on a loose pavement stone or when your dog darts in front of you. Your body has to make a sudden, powerful, and corrective movement. One leg shoots out to the side, your core muscles tighten like a fist, your ankles make tiny, lightning-fast adjustments to keep you upright. That isn't just walking. That is a feat of strength. It requires power in your hips, your thighs, your glutes, and your core, the very muscles that, if we're not careful, can slowly, gradually weaken without us even noticing. You see, when we walk, we're mostly moving forward in a straight line. We're using our muscles in a very specific, repetitive way. But life isn't always a straight line. Life is full of sideways steps, sudden stops, and unexpected twists. If our bodies aren't prepared for that, if those stabilizer muscles have gotten lazy, then when that moment of instability comes, they simply won't be there for us. They'll be like a guard who's fallen asleep on the job. So, what do? We have to train for the unexpected. And the beautiful part is, you don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment. You can start right in your own kitchen, holding onto the counter for support. Let me give you a couple of ideas. Instead of just walking forward, try taking a few slow, controlled steps sideways, like a gentle crab walk. Feel the muscles on the outside of your hips working? Those are your balance muscles. Try standing on one leg while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Just hold on with one hand and lift the other foot an inch off the floor. Start with just 10 seconds and then try the other side. You'll be amazed at how much concentration and strength that requires. It's like sending a wake-up call directly to your stabilizers. Another wonderful one is the simple sit-to-stand exercise. Practice getting out of a chair without using your hands. Push through your heels, engage your thighs, and rise up. Then, lower yourself back down slowly, with control. Don't just plop back down. This single movement builds the exact strength you need for one of the most common times people lose their balance, standing up. The goal here isn't to become a bodybuilder, it's to remind those crucial, supportive muscles that they have an important job to do, and that you're counting on them. Now, this leads us directly to our fifth and final mistake. This one is perhaps the most surprising for many people, and it's deeply connected to the strength we just talked about. It's the mistake of accepting a little stiffness and poor posture as just a normal part of aging. I want you to picture a tall, sturdy ship's mast. For it to stay upright in the water, it needs to be straight, and the ropes holding it up, the shrouds and stays, need to be taut. Now, imagine if that mast started to lean forward and all those ropes went slack. What would happen at the first big wave? It would topple over. Well, think of your spine as that mast and your core muscles as those all-important ropes. When we spend a lot of time sitting, or when we're constantly looking down at our hands, whether at a phone, a book, or a knitting needle, our head, which weighs a good 10 or 12 pounds, begins to drift forward. Our shoulders round, our upper back hunches. This is what we often call a forward head posture or widow's hump. And when this happens, our center of gravity shifts. Instead of being centered neatly over our hips and legs, it moves forward. This is a disaster for balance. When your center of gravity is already forward, the slightest nudge, the smallest stumble, can pull you right over. Your body is constantly fighting just to keep you from falling forward, even when you're standing still. It's exhausting, and it's incredibly unstable. So, how do we recenter ourselves? It starts with awareness. Every so often, take a moment and check in with your posture. If you're sitting, are your ears over your shoulders? Are your shoulders over your hips? Try to gently draw your shoulder blades back and down, as if you're trying to put them into your back pockets. And when you're standing, imagine a string pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. It's not about standing at attention like a soldier, it's about finding that long, tall, relaxed alignment. A simple exercise you can do is what I call wall angels. Stand with your back against a wall, your heels a few inches away from it. Try to get the back of your head, your shoulders, and your bottom touching the wall. Now, slowly raise your arms up and down, like you're making a snow angel. If you can't get all those points to touch the wall, don't worry. Just do what you can. This movement helps to open up the chest and retrain those muscles in your upper back to hold you in a more balanced, upright position. So now we've laid it all out. We've talked about the foundation of your shoes, the importance of your vision, the power of a focused mind, the critical nature of targeted strength, and finally, the central role of a well-aligned posture. These 5 areas work together like a symphony to keep you steady and confident on your feet. It might seem like a lot to think about, but I promise you, it all starts with one small, simple step. It's quite something, isn't it? When you stop and really think about it, our sense of balance is this incredible, silent partnership between so many different parts of ourselves. It's your feet feeling the floor, your eyes scanning the path ahead, your mind focused on the task at hand, your muscles poised and ready to react, and your spine holding you tall and centered. It's a conversation your body is having with the world every single moment you're upright. And the goal of everything we've talked about is to make sure that conversation remains clear, confident, and strong. Now, I know we've covered these 5 mistakes, but I don't want you to walk away from our time together feeling like you have a long, daunting checklist of things to fix. That's not the spirit of this at all. In fact, I want to turn the whole idea on its head. Instead of thinking about them as mistakes to avoid, I'd like you to see them as 5 incredible opportunities. 5 doors you can open, each one leading to a greater sense of confidence and freedom in your daily life. Opportunity number 1 is right there in your closet. Choosing the right shoe isn't a chore, it's a chance to give yourself a solid, dependable foundation for every adventure, whether that adventure is a walk in the park or a trip to the grocery store. It's a simple act of self-care, like giving yourself a steady hand to hold onto all day long. Opportunity number 2 is about giving yourself the gift of time and light. Plugging in that night light isn't just about safety, it's about being kind to your eyes, giving them the help they need to guide you safely through your own home. It's about creating an environment that supports you, that whispers, "Take your time, I've got you." The third opportunity is perhaps the most profound. It's the gift of your own attention. Slowing down and moving with purpose isn't about admitting you're slower, it's about reclaiming a sense of mindfulness and grace in your movements. It's about being truly present in your own body, honoring each step and each movement as the miracle that it is. The fourth opportunity is about rediscovering your own strength, not for lifting heavy weights, but for the poetry of motion. Those little exercises by the kitchen counter, the sit-to-stands from your chair, they aren't a workout. They are a conversation with your muscles, a way of saying, "I still need you, and I thank you for your service." You are building a personal bodyguard, from the inside out, whose only job is to keep you steady. And that fifth and final opportunity is all about standing tall in the world. Working on your posture isn't about vanity, it's about aligning your physical self with the vibrant, capable person you are on the inside. It's about projecting confidence to the world and, more importantly, feeling that confidence resonate within your own bones. When you stand tall, you tell yourself, "I am here, and I am steady." You see, this isn't about fighting against age. It's about working in harmony with the wonderful, experienced person you have become. It's about making a few small, thoughtful adjustments to ensure that your body remains the faithful, capable partner you deserve as you continue to live your life fully and joyfully. And I would love to hear how this journey is going for you. This is a conversation, after all. So, if you feel comfortable, please share your thoughts down in the comments below. Maybe you found a particular type of shoe that's been a game changer for you. Or perhaps you have a little balance exercise you swear by. Your experience could be the very thing that helps a fellow viewer find their footing. Let's create a community of support and shared wisdom down there. If this conversation has been helpful, if it's given you a new perspective or a bit of hope, then please do give this video a like. It helps this message reach more wonderful people like you who could benefit from it. And of course, if you'd like to join me for more chats like this, about living your best, healthiest, and most joyful life, then I would be so honored to have you subscribe to the channel. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. The goal is confidence. The goal is to keep doing the things you love, surrounded by the people you love, with grace and strength for years to come. You have the power to make a profound difference in your own stability and independence, starting with just one small step today. So, here's to you. Here's to your strength, your wisdom, and to every confident step you take on this beautiful journey.